but we really I could use seven techs like for the last 5 or 6 months.
Yeah.
And instead I lost one more. So the total
man.
of 4 since March, you know.
And I mean, definitely don't get into the details, but was this like a 2020 loss? Was it COVID related in some way?
Yeah, kind of. The first 3 guys all had health concerns, and they lived. We're on the border of New York City, so or New York, and so those guys got freaked out. Of course, one of the 3 I ended up bringing back to be like phone tech support, just because they weren't collecting. So I wanted to get him some money, and this guy's great, but he ended up starting his own business. So he used this Corona break to push in. A couple other guys just did something different.
Yeah.
Where they don't have to go into people's homes, And this last guy just said, "I'm tired of masks. I'm tired of cranky customers. I'm tired of you pushing me too hard." So he walked
And
out.
Doug, remind us, how long has Action been around, and like how long? I don't remember if you were involved from the very beginning, but how long have you been involved with Action?
Yeah, 1961, father-son business, and then in the late 80s, Jake just bought it out from his dad. I came with him in '93, and I've been there this whole time. So we got up to about 14 techs this year, the beginning of this year. So we cover Connecticut, the state of Rhode Island, which unfortunately only needs 1 tech, and a little bit of the Massachusetts area. So presently we're at 12.
Okay.
Techs.
So in the over 15 years that you've been running this business, like you had mentioned that somebody had left and started their own. So it's like, how do you deal with that, and how do you look for that, or do you look for that? Like
Well, the owner's scared. The owner is afraid of that. He hates that. So basically, I've heard it come right from his mouth. What's the most we can pay a technician, so that it's almost like a partnership, and then let them not have to worry about business. And a lot of a bunch of the companies in our peer group that we are in have all discontinued Saturday service. We haven't yet. So every tech has to work about, we give them like 6 calls on a Saturday, every 4th Saturday. So it's practically Monday through Friday. Give us between 40 and 45 hours, and you'll make between 70 and 100,000. And they're commission based. So the guys that are making 70 have only been doing it for a couple of years. The guys who've got their rhythm down can get 8 or 9 calls done and be done in 8 or 9 hours.
Yeah, I know that Bobby talks a lot about finding techs that are money motivated, and I'm hearing from you, Doug, that is. It sounds like that's kind of a way that you guys have, I don't know, addressed that concept of possibly creating a competitor within your ranks. Keep them happy.
It's okay. I mean, that's right. And so when this guy left, he's a great technician, has great relational skills with his customers, very organized, follows the rules, pays attention to detail. Of course he's gonna, all the power to him, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? There's enough appliances out there. So this guy, if he's successful, I'm proud. I'm grateful, because all he knew was he did maintenance cleanings for Sears. So they didn't train him yet. And he just went and did service contract, like take a dryer apart, delint it under their warranties. And then I picked him up, and he's with us for 7 years. So anyway, but then I have 5 other techs that have been with us for almost 10 years or more. and they don't really want to go anywhere because I kind of share with them the ugly side of doing business, and so they're kind of grateful for it, you know.
Yeah.
So
there's plenty of ugly sides, but plenty of bright sides also.
Ugly side, like, I mean, yeah, there is, right, but it's different headaches, right?
And there's always
Can't get a wall of them. What's that?
I said it's always a bright side too.
Mhm.
Of course, absolutely. Imagine if we hated our jobs.
Right. That's why we're all here making money.
Yeah, that's why.
That's right.
Why you guys?
Yeah, I don't
work.
find.
Sorry, go ahead, Doug.
I don't see people. Maybe the carrots. I've said this before in this group. Maybe the carrot's too close. I just don't see our guys motivated too much by money. They love it, but to make more, they're not interested. You know, so balance, man. People want balance. They want weekends and hobbies and life. And I'm 50. That's not the way it was when I was 25. You know.
Right.
Yeah, I hear you. I definitely value that flexibility myself.
Mm-hmm.
So what's new with everybody? How's it going? Welcome, Andrew. Warren, welcome. Feel free to unmute, show yourself if you'd like, jump on in. Laurent, nice to see you. Laurent, I noticed that lately you've been tinkering. It seems like it makes sense though with your, doing this after hours. And Tom, TK, Kristen, nice to see you guys here.
Huh?
Guys.
So what's anything on your guys' mind? Anybody have anything they wanted to jump into?
Is anyone else experiencing any issues with Samsung parts, like back order parts?
Yeah. Whirlpool too.
I have a question. What's the secret? Sorry, I'm in black because my wife she's in bed, so I gotta be quiet. But what's you guys' secret to diagnosing these Samsung and LG fridges? Because I'm new. I'm only a few months into the business, but these fridges is coming at me so quick. I don't even have time to learn like I should. And I'm spending a lot of time trying to figure out the thermostats and if it's, and the different fans and, and all of the Samsung and LGs have different diagnostic modes for the control boards, and it's hard to find. So what would you guys advice on those fridges?
Andrew, you want to take that one?
My personal experience is walk away. I don't work on LG or Samsung currently, so
I already
No, that's what everybody says.
I knew that answer.
I hate ever saying that, but we have refused to work on Samsung and LG for a long time, other than their laundry appliances. And quite honestly, I wouldn't mind not working on those. I'm busy enough to never touch an LG or Samsung and not cry about it.
All right, Doug, paper, rock, scissors.
Well, obviously, from the board for LG and Samsung refrigerators is the best place to be in diagnosing. So, for instance, today, no cool in the refrigerator section, and there was ice buildup on the back wall. So I went to the board, pulled up a schematic, and then I just ohmed out the circuit that has the heater, the thermal fuse, and the defrost thermostat, and it was an open circuit. So I'm going to order the heater and the thermistor, and then come back, defrost it, and pop those two parts in. So everything from the board is the way to go.
Oh, you mean the backboard in the back?
Right from the main board. Yeah. You should be doing that with GE refrigerators too. You can check everything from the board. And trust me, that wasn't the way it was when I've been off the road for 6 years and I'm just going back out to have fun. But no, I'm not, to survive actually. So, but even GE refrigerators, and I'd be glad to send it to you, Warren. I've got this PDF that you can check every single component right from the board. Thermistor, heater, compressor, everything.
Yeah, I've been looking for those tech sheets on appliantology and things like that, and it's so hard for me to try to find. And I'm still getting
listen.
used
I
to
don't think
everything.
Samsung and LG are much different than a Whirlpool or a GE or Frigidaire, because half the time I think they're a Samsung anyway. But the problem is if they're time consuming for us, right, Andrew? That's what you're kind of saying. Like, I don't need to be spinning my wheels and, dealing with parts coming in wrong, right? You order an LG boot for a front load washer and it's the wrong one. I mean, these
Even
are
more than
things
that too.
That's right, but they've gotten better. Oh, I know it is. But I mean, there's a market, because in our state, there's really no one that does any LG, no Viking, and a couple other brands that if no one else will do it, but we will. We don't exploit people and overcharge them, but we know we'll always be busy.
That's why I don't want to.
It's funny that you.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was saying that's why I
No,
don't
it's
want
just
to.
funny because I was thinking.
Oh,
Seriously, I'll stop. I won't
We've
say no
picked
word.
up
Go ahead, my friend.
the STG app recently, and I've been working on more Samsung in 2020 than we did for the past 5 years. We also are running LG and Samsung under the HMSM warranty, which is the only one we're working on. So that gives us a little bit of leeway there. Very small amount, but a little bit. And you're right. They're not much different. You can do a lot from the control board, just like GE, same concept. And it's not that I'm afraid of them. I just don't need them. I just assume not deal with repetitive issues. You'll go out and you'll diagnose a bad ice maker today, and you're back on an evap and compressor in literally 3 weeks. It's constant. The failure rate seems to be higher. I don't know what it is there, but pretty consistent.
That's why I wanted to learn, because nobody in my area wants to touch them. So I'm like, man, that's a big opportunity, but
I don't think they're going anywhere. They're not going anywhere. And Samsung is gigantic, and Lowe's is pushing Samsung really big. And I imagine that they're going to take over for the name Kenmore, which forever in the 35 years I've been doing this, Kenmore was the brand that was in 50% of the homes of America, which is, who knows what Kenmore is now, but Samsung is now one of the largest sellers. I mean, it would be, unless you're like super busy like Andrew, I feel like you have to service LG and Samsung because no one else does, and it's a job for life.
Yeah, I need a place, like you said, a good place to find tech sheets to be able to diagnose.
Yeah, and you mentioned you have appliantology already.
Yes.
Just because you move in, don't expect.
You're gonna always find some technicians are gonna be book smart. Some technicians are gonna be, eyes on. They can jump right to it based on symptoms. It's find out, what diagnostics works best for you. I know a couple technicians that you put them in front of a schematic and they can't tell you what a diode or what a transistor is. But at the same time, they can tell you exactly what's wrong with the fridge by looking at it, not even opening the damn door, just the simple fridge. And it's muscle memory. I mean, you do the same repair a lot of times, consecutively. What Doug is talking about by jumping to the board, yes, doesn't matter what you're troubleshooting. Most 90 99% of everything that you're troubleshooting can be sourced right from that main board, because everything comes together to that one point, because that's how it's powered up. So knowing what you're looking for and knowing how to do that, if you can learn how to troubleshoot a main board on one brand, you can learn how to troubleshoot a main board on all brands. So yeah, Doug is right with a like a flawless technique is being able to read a schematic and go through it and being able to do it. Some technicians would come into that exact same circumstance and see the frost build up, take the evaporator cover off and open out at the connector and find out it's an open thermal fuse, and go about it the reverse way. Both technicians are exactly correct, even though their approaches are completely different. So I mean, it really just depends. Find what works best for you. If you're the type that you get eyes on something and you know how something functions, and I mean that's how your diagnostics are. Go with where your strengths are at. If you're a technician that can book smart and use a meter for anything, and that's how you go about it, then I mean by all means, crank at it and jump at the back of the board and throw it in the test.
When I was green, I felt like ranges were the best way to learn schematics, diagnostic abilities. I thought ranges were, as high-end ranges at least, were far more complicated than anything else I worked on. If a dishwasher's not draining, you go to the drain pump, right? But if an oven's not heating, you might have 4 or 5 elements that could be failed, or a control board, or sensor, or user interface. Or I mean, there are so many components to high-end range that, to me, that's where I felt like the majority of my good quality learning came from. So I don't know if you work on stoves or not, but I'd highly recommend working on stoves. And even if you know that the bake element's bad, go back to the board, put your meter on those terminals to verify that that bake element's bad from the board. That way you're reading the schematic, you're seeing exactly, you're doing a different step. And that by itself is honestly a big help.
Yeah, I like what you said, because I was actually that other type of tech for most of my career. Again, I've only just come on the road because of an emergency, but to figure out how a Samsung refrigerator, filter, I was just on one today, and the filter is in between the 2 vegetable drawers. I'm trying to get the back cover off just to see if there's anything going on, and I can't move the bottom shelf. So I'm resorting to the board, because I'm dying. I'm struggling to take it. It takes forever to take a machine apart, where I used to be able to zip 4 screws, remove the evaporator cover, get right to the limiter and the heater, and so I've resorted to the board technology. But I love what you said. I forget your first name, Alex, maybe, from Pace. I forget. But I like what you said. It's all about remembering too. Just remembering what you see, because it's repetitive and you'll see it over and over,
Right.
You got to grab the Samsungs and the LGs. If you need work, go for it. It's good stuff.
I make a lot of money on Samsungs and LGs.
Yeah.
I was certified by both of them for a long time. I used that STG forever. Hey, Andrew, are they still doing that where now you got to do the text messages before and after on that STG?
I'm not sure what you're referring to.
You have to log into it and sign into the text that you're going to be moving up to. If you do authorized work for Samsung?
No.
How did you get access to STG not being authorized?
It started with Lowe's and then it turned into Daycor. Daycor is actually building a website right now that's going to be all of Samsung as well. So we're getting access to more here soon. But it started with Lowe's, whatever the account is through them. And then now Daycor gave it to us as well.
So you're getting grandfathered in through Lowe's for it?
We still have our account from Lowe's. Yeah.
The other portion I heard is if the Daycors, if some companies that were Daycor certified, if they did not pick up Samsung contract as well, then they were being dismissed from Daycor as well. It was either both or none. A lot of people agreed with it, and then some people said no, they're sticking to only Daycor, and they're not doing the Samsungs.
They offered us an extremely low ball number. I mean, it was like $65 to work on Samsung warranty. And the boss just flat out laughed at him, said, pound salt. He said, we'll keep Daycor, and if you guys change your mind about making us do Samsung, then we'll drop Decor too. There's nobody else in the whole tri-state that works on them, so we are the only factorized Decor company in the tri-state. And honestly, I don't care if we drop Decor either. I love Decor, but who cares about warranty work anymore? It's getting to a point where it's stupid.
No,
you lose money on every warranty job you go on. So
those Decor DSIs and that can be a little nightmare to troubleshoot on a schematic.
That's why I said I learned more diagnostic skills working on ranges than I did on anything else.
Yeah. Those what's that DSI? Dynamic spark interface or igniter?
Direct spark ignition.
Direct spark ignition,
yeah. It's a pretty neat concept. It's a lot more expensive than your standard 4 or 5, 6 point reignition systems, but they're still pretty cool. Did you have any topics for us, Alex?
Not anything in particular in mind. I know that Christina with Pace was asking if anybody else was having trouble getting Samsung parts, and I know that Doug was mentioning Samsung and LG parts. Maybe it might be helpful for some people to hear from others. How do you deal with that when you're running into a parts shortage or you're running into long lead times for particular parts? Like, how do you go about adjusting the customer's expectations? How do you go about making adjustments within your own sort of internal operations to sort of pivot and sort of flow with those sorts of things that come up?
I'm straight up with everybody. Shipping's weird. This is the weirdest time that we've ever dealt with in the world. It's not like we're the ones that are screwing you over. It's the world is screwed over right now. So I'm not having too many issues, even with back-ordered parts. We have plenty of back-ordered parts, but we're not having anybody throwing fits or anything. So my experience is there is no problem from my side.
So I guess my question was, I wasn't sure if it was due to Corona or the fires that's going around. Is that why we're having such a delay in Samsung parts? And good luck getting a hold of anybody at LG.
Or any other manufacturer.
Yeah, it's not exclusive to those two brands. I can't get any maintenance kits for Whirlpool dryers, so now we're buying things individually. Actually, I just somebody just posted on the Facebook page the article from the Washington Post or whatever, talking about the whole thing. This is completely Corona related. Factories get shut down, parts factories get shut down, then production stops.
Cargo ships are being held.
Yep. As a matter of fact, my technicians think that I probably asked them to do too much, but one of their jobs is to, once they diagnose, find out what part they need. They should be checking availability. And if it's, we have a shipping pot, we ship it directly to the customer and we tell them to give us a call. So that means that we're giving them the date range of expectation, which is 3 to, 12 business days. And so I'm telling the techs, especially now, but forever I've told them, but for now, it's like, if you need a part and it's on back order and you can't find it in any other distributor, and we have a software blue book that you can see every company in the country. If it's on back order, tell the customer right then and there. Just they communicate well is what needs to happen.
We got that.
So that software that you're talking about, is that mypartshelp.com or whatever it is?
That's right. Yeah. Yep.
And with that software, you're actually able to see, Marcone, Reliable, Encompass, API,
and companies that I don't buy from because I'm in New England, Fox, Cashwell, all those companies, and and then we can adjust the price right there in the house because we're not going to get our Marcone rate. And we're probably going to pay closer to retail from Cashwell. So then my technician can now, increase the, add 25% to the price of the part when they're calculating the repair price. There's all these tools there for us so that once we diagnose it, we probably also have to remember that a percentage of your customers were never going to call you if it wasn't 2020 with COVID. They were going to go buy a new appliance, but they can't, or it's delayed. And so we're now sometimes a second choice for a lot of our customers. That's why it's been so busy for us, because there's less options. And so the best thing we can do is communicate up front. And we're probably the second time they heard they're going to have to wait weeks, because the French door that they wanted to buy at Lowe's or Home Depot, they told them weeks. They decided just to fix it, and now we're telling them weeks. It's not so bad to tell them up front.
What does that service cost you?
It's a subscription. You're within a month it's paid for. I don't know what it costs. It's not that much.
Okay. I gave an $850 bid on a Fisher & Paykel dryer today, and the lady didn't bat an eye. She said, I'll fix it.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. This will be the first time in Thanksgiving used to be the most anxiety-ridden time for me, because as you're getting closer weeks to Thanksgiving, you started thinking about all these jobs that you're ordering and the customers going, I hope you get it done by Thanksgiving. For probably 3 or 4 years, I've not had to kind of have that rah-rah speech with my technicians to remind them, hey, Monday's the cutoff date, and we're gonna need to pre-schedule it. Or let's make sure we throw extra bake igniters on the truck. None of those things have had to happen. This year, I predict it, guys. We're going to be bombarded. If you've not been doing this a long time, you're going to be bombarded this year with people demanding some way to make Thanksgiving happen for them, which means overnight air, pre-scheduling ahead of time, ordering the extra board if you're not
Todo
sure.
lo demás nada bien, sí.
You got to cover yourself.
Ordering in a few extra parts to shotgun a first-time complete is one of the big things that we do at Thanksgiving. I guarantee we have more return charges during November than the rest of the year combined. But we do it for people. We'll bring whatever we think might be necessary in order to get them fixed up.
I agree.
Whereas normally we wouldn't order that board just in case. Now we'll bring a board out just in case. Makes everybody happier. You make more money. You might lose a few bucks in return shipping or restocking fees, but you're going to make it up on the first trip complete.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think this is going to calm down until probably next summer. Around May is my expectations. Right about when school starts to let out is when we're going to finally let up, is my prediction.
Yeah.
Since the topic has kind of come up, the increase in business as a result of COVID, I had asked this a couple weeks ago, but we have a lot more people in here, so I'd be curious to get some data from some of you folks that have been doing this for more than a year. So I was asking people what they think the percentage increase, like how much has their business increased since March of this year compared to previous years. And we were hearing anywhere from like a 15 to 25% increase in business to as high as 50% increase in business. But like I said, we have a few other people here, so feel free to just unmute yourselves. I'd be interested to hear what percentage you think your business has increased this year as a result of COVID compared to previous years.
I think mine's gone up about like 53%, something like that.
You're cutting out a little bit. Say that one more time.
Sorry, I sometimes mumble. I think mine's jumped about 50%. It's still kind of building from what I finished off last year.
All right. And whereabouts is your business's service area? Where in the country?
Oh, Richmond, Virginia.
Nice. Anyone else have some rough numbers on their head that you want to share?
I don't know numbers, but I can tell you I've been really busy.
Yeah.
For me, losing technicians in the middle of the spring and summer kind of makes it hard. I know that we track cancellation rates by the week, and in the slower seasons, the regular seasons, our cancellation rate is 8 to 10%. In July and August, it can be as high as like 28%. Right now, we can have a weekly cancellation. We have weekly cancel rates of 35 and 40% because we're COD. We don't do any warranty, so people are booked out 2 weeks. So they're making an appointment, but they're obviously looking for somebody else. And so I'm looking March in 2019. We did an extra 350 calls. That's when I was fully staffed. And then April, we did an extra 200. And then I lost technicians. And actually, I've been doing worse than I did last year because I can't keep up with the new business because I don't have enough help for it.
What about individual technicians? Can you see their numbers?
Oh, yeah. I can. I haven't. I've searched a few of my top 6 guys because they've been asking. We use Service Desk, and they're up by like 10 or 15%, but they're also really pissed off because they didn't get their slow time. They didn't. Basically, whatever each guy's call count that I know is what they should do. Some guys are 7, 8, or 9. I added 1. This was back in like April. I just added 1, and I told the guys, just hang in there. It probably won't be this crazy too long. These guys will come back to work, man, and they're starting to drop like flies and get a little lazy and get a little attitude and get a little angry. And so I'm going to have to scale it back again a little bit more. But overall, we are we're about 40,000 less in revenue from last year just because I don't have the help. So,
Real quick question off subject of what we're talking about, but for Doug, these techs that you have, are these techs that you trained, or are they guys that were already trained and you just took them in? Or
yeah,
a little mixture of the two.
It's kind of a mixture of both. I don't really I don't have anyone right now that we trained from scratch. These are all guys that came with different levels of experience. They've all come. I am starting to train from scratch next week because I'm desperate, right? It's a lot of work to train from scratch.
Awesome. Do you expect your guys to be equally trained? Do you want them all to do everything, or do you have specialty guys that only do such and such?
No, they other than sealed system, I want them to do it all. It would be terrible, right? Those are the Sears stories that you would hear. A customer tell you like they're in to fix the refrigerator and the dishwasher doesn't work or the dryer, and they say, no, I don't know how to do those. You got to call the office and book another appointment. And then the customer would say, then they wanted me to pay another service charge on top of that, and it's not weird to a company like that, but that's weird to me, right?
Doug, your technicians are doing what, 160, 175 calls monthly with SD? You're crossing that over and bringing all that up.
Ask your question again.
Your technicians are running what, 160, 175 calls a month?
Yep.
Do you encourage them to pick up extra calls with their future schedule on that SD mobile? How do you work that out? If they have a cancellation or free time, do you dispatch it to them, or do they look ahead and grab their own calls?
No, we dispatch it to them, and I made a deal with them. If their call count is 8 and they get through 8 and it's 3 o'clock because a bunch of walks, no repairs, go home, just go home and rest. And it almost feels like a half day, right? When you get done by 3 o'clock.
Anymore it does.
So I could-
Didn't used to.
I could, you know, today 3 guys got done by 4:30. I could have probably put, you know, 6 more calls on those 3 guys, or 2 more calls each, right? 1 more. I could have put 4 more calls on, but aren't you
After
guys
4:30?
aren't you guys burnt?
After
Well,
4:30,
like,
you put.
after at 3 o'clock is when I don't cut it. After, you know, right before 3 o'clock, I might add 1, you know. But don't forget, in Connecticut, where everybody's booked out between a week and 2 weeks. So add-ons don't really happen. Now there might be a cancellation, and then we take someone from the cancellation list and add it to that one that just canceled that day.
Most technicians on that SD mobile, they usually have their future routes disabled. Do you have you tried enabling it because of the just the amount of swamping to see if they can pull them by themselves, or they just lack of motivation?
Only the guys I trust that have the big picture thinking, like, hey, I'm in this town and I know I have a part install, you know, let me see if the part's in and it's already scheduled. But most guys, I disable it because I think they're going to call out sick if they see their next day's schedule, right?
Exactly. That's what most do.
How are all you guys doing emotionally, physically? Are you guys tired? Do you feel like you're working harder? Do you feel like the COVID energy is zapping you more? Do you feel like it's just a normal year? What's it like for you guys as technicians out there?
I'm fine now, but last month I was drained. I had to relax. I had to cut back a little bit.
Yeah.
I was working every Saturday all summer. I was running 2-3 extra calls a day, picking up extra work every day. Now I've backed off to my 9 per day, and I feel a lot better.
You know that scene in Full Metal Jacket where they beat the hell out of that guy with the soaps and the sock? That's how I feel most of it.
Yeah.
Andrew doesn't like hearing me say it, but I like to cherry pick and just go for the refrigerators and dryers. So I'll jump all over those ones, and usually I try to leave like 1 open spot in the day, so when customers call in, I can throw them right on the same day. And you find customers actually find that very hard. So if there is that quick job or a no cool job that you can gain a customer from life from, I jump all over that.
I don't mind you doing it. I ask why you did it. Don't take it like that, punk.
Oh no, I'm just giving you shit.
Hey guys, I know this is a bit off y'all's subject, but I'm new at this. I'm kind of 4 months in, and I had thinking about taking a loan out so I could do. You know, I work for somebody else 8 to 5 p.m. and then I do my own thing from 5 on. What do you guys think about taking it? Have you guys ever had to take a loan out?
Don't.
Don't. For equipment, and I want to just get out on my own. I want to do my own thing. I've been wanting my own business. I finally got it. I feel like I'm kind of pushing it a little bit, you know, not being patient enough.
Man, you can't put 1 foot in and 1 foot out. I mean, if you're gonna jump in, you need to jump in. I mean, you need to, and then if you do that, that needs to be, 100% dedication. I mean, starting your own company when you're on your own like that, there's one rule: there's no safety net.
Sir.
This is a good time. This is a good time to do it. I used to think you wake up every morning and in the state of Connecticut, there's 306 people that are going to reach out and call somebody because their appliance is broken. This Sears is going to get 30% of that. Then this guy's who's number 1 in the phone book or, whatever, online. And it just, the scraps kind of go down from there. This is the time to do it if you're going to take a chance because there's tons of work out there.
Yes, right now I'm just in Thumbtack and they keep me busy, but I guess I'm getting a little bit of competition because, I can only do it after 5 p.m. on weekdays, but weekends I'm free. So some of the people that's contacting me, I tell them what's going on, and then I don't hear nothing else from them. A lot of them, they stick with me, because they see the reviews. A lot of them, like, I saw your reviews, so that's the reason I stuck with you.
Try to set
How do you currently make a living?
Like I said, I work for another company from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. I do
In appliance repair?
No, I'm actually commercial. I have an HVAC journeyman's license. I work, like McDonald's and all that. I work on their equipment, commercial equipment, like commercial refrigeration, fryers, imperial ovens, all that commercial stuff. So then I do my own residential appliance company on the side.
I'd say try to set yourself up with a jam-packed weekend like you would do a normal weekday, and see how you get through it, and see what kind of money you make, crunch your numbers, and then set that money aside. After doing
aside.
Yeah.
If you've got vacation time, use it.
There, that's a good one too. That might get you in trouble with your company though.
Take a Thursday, Friday off, slam them full, and use that as a savings for, parts or a reliable vehicle or some kind of insurance that you're going to need.
Piece it together.
There's going to be a lot of expenses up front.
Yeah, so right now I'm getting my insurance together. Insurance and speak with some warranty companies to see how that goes. Like I said, I'm just trying to, get my stuff together.
Your insurance. Your insurance is going to be about $75 to $85 a month. Your initial stock investment is going to be about what, $2,000. To cover you across, the basics. Depending on what you're working on. If you're doing like all spectrums, your stock parts are going to be even more. But I mean, if you're just going to work on a couple, it'd probably be less. But about $2,000 is your general average.
Oh, okay. Makes sense. Initially, that's what I was going to do. Just do my weekends, get my weekends all stocked up, and I wasn't gonna really do nothing on the weekdays, but it started falling into play. I had to get that money. So that's it. I'm just learning.
Did you
the
say
business.
Liability insurance is $100 a month? Is that what you said?
No, the person. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
No, $70 to $80 for a $2 million plan.
For liability insurance?
Yeah, $70 to $80 a month.
I was told $5,000 a year.
No, your general contractor's insurance. If you're just going to run yourself like he's talking about doing for self-employed, a self-employed individual, you can go through his Cox or all these other different ones, and it's like $70, $80 a month, or you can pay annually and get it down to like $750, $600, for the entire year.
That's exactly what he told me. He told me about it's close to $600 for the year. And,
that's if you pay it in 1 month fee. If you take it over the monthly, it's a little bit more, but much more doable. Practice just to put it on a credit card and $75.
Yeah, $75 a month. That's exactly what he told me.
Patrick, you mentioned that you're getting leads through Thumbtack right now. What else are you doing to get your business out there in front of you?
Everywhere I go, I hand out business cards. Everywhere I go, I do the business cards. I talk, do word of mouth. I've just tried to set up. I'm trying to set up a website right now.
So what I would recommend doing before the website is to get your Google My Business listing set up.
That's what I mean. That's it. Yeah, that's what I tried to set up last night.
Yeah, and with the business that you're bringing in through Thumbtack and the referrals and everything, just kind of think about the long game. Think about which customers are ones that might be more likely to leave me a review, or which of the customers are, can I do certain things to help put them in that headspace where they would be likely to leave a good review, and get that GMB listing up and start taking the business that you're having now and leverage them for reviews,
Okay.
And many ways to do it. You can ask them straight up. You can send a message afterwards. However you decide to go about it, try to start stacking a consistent amount of reviews on your G&B listing. That's something that is going to be worth investing the time and the mental space into now. That can really help set you up for success into the long term.
Okay, appreciate that. Thank you.
And the same applies. You had said that you were thinking about maybe signing up with a warranty company or two. If you were to do that, the same thing applies. It's like if the customer is happy with the service and their experience, and you have good rapport. Again, there's many ways to go about it, but however, whichever angle you're at it, essentially asking for a review from them is good stuff right there.
Like I said, I got over 20, and I'd say about 21 of them are 5-star reviews on Thumbtack.
Cool.
So.
Yeah, that's good too. And Thumbtack, you have your Thumbtack kind of profile. Once you get your Google My Business listing finalized and verified from Google, you're going to want to go back into your Thumbtack profile and make sure that all the information that you have listed for your business in Thumbtack is exactly the same as you have it listed in Google My Business. So what you're going to do is you're going to be communicating to Google and the search engines that like these two separate areas on the internet, Google My Business listing, Thumbtack profile, they are the same business. If there's inconsistencies between how you are presenting your business between those platforms and all platforms, the search engines will get a little confused, and it just makes some of the things harder for getting your business in front of people online.
Thank you, fellas.
All right, I gotta go. Time to go watch a debate.
All right, Andrew.
Really?
I'll see you guys next week.
Take care, Andrew. Have a nice night.
Yep. Bye, guys.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, unless there was anything else anybody wanted to jump in with, something kind of quick and short, we can go ahead and wrap things up for the week.
Anybody get any Karens?
We had a customer named Karen, but not a true Karen. Do you remember?
Tell us, wrap us up with your story.
Eso digo yo.
What? You guys want a good story?
Yeah, let's close us out with a good story, Bobby.
All right. So I had a call for a Samsung. I was in ASC at the time, and I got a call for a senior citizen, a mental house. This was a patient wing that was like these little apartment rooms, inside of a building. So I go there and I call the property manager, or the supervisor of the place, and she tells me that you're going to a customer that's mentally ill. She has dementia. It's pretty severe. If there's any problems, to give her a call, and she'll do what she can to help out. But that is the tenant's property. They have to respect that property. I have to go there and and go through the tenant. And I said, no problem. So I got there. It gave me the door code into the building. And the doors were kind of like a classroom. There's like a little peephole window, with a little curtain on it. And I could see the lady walking up when I knocked on the door. So I knocked on the door, and as soon as I did, I hit, "Who the fuck is it?" I was like, "Oh." It was like an older lady, that immediately jumped to that response. I was like, "Oh shit, here we go." I was like, "I'm Bobby. I'm with Samsung. I'm here to work on a refrigerator." She's like, "I didn't call you. I'm calling police." I was like, "What? Do you have a refrigerator that needs fixed, ma'am?" And the curtain opened. I was like, "Oh, cool. Here we go." Little camera popped up. She goes, "I got your picture, bitch. I'm calling the police." I'm like, "What the fuck?" Okay, here we go. I'm like, so I was like, "All right." I call the property manager lady again, and I call her up and I'm like, I'm having some issues getting entry into to repair the fridge. She goes, yeah, she's having a bad day today. I was like, look, I can speak to her pretty clearly through the door. If I put you on speakerphone, maybe you can try to talk to her. And she goes, yeah, go ahead. So I hit speaker and I go, ma'am, I have someone who needs to talk with you. And I put the phone towards the door, and she's like, Arlene, it's Mary. Arlene, she goes, ooh, I know that voice, you voodoo bitch. Come on up here. I'll cut you again. I'm like, oh, damn. Here we go. And she goes, Darlene, we took all your knives. You don't have no way to cut. She goes, oh, I got one more for you, bitch. And I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. And so this went on for like, 45 seconds to a minute, and they're arguing back and forth on how many knives are in that apartment. And I'm like, oh, yeah, my gosh. And she's like, sir, it's not gonna happen today. I'm like, well, I am here. I did show up. We did call. We did everything that we possibly could, to complete our job today. If you guys do call back, they will charge you a service call fee. And she goes, I understand. And if that's something that they want to do, then that's something that they'll have to do. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I said, ma'am, sorry I couldn't help you. You have a good day. She's like, yeah, fuck you too, buddy. I'm like, whoa, what the hell? So I go to leave. When I go to leave, here comes an officer. Now, mind you, I have a tool bag, a clipboard, and I'm walking out with I'm like a bulky, amount of stuff. And he's like, put the bags on the ground, get on the ground now. And I'm like, I think we got on the wrong page. And he's like, get down on the ground. I'm like, it's muddy. I am not getting down on the ground. I was like, look, I go, here's my paperwork. I came here to work on. He goes to reach for his gun, and I'm still on the phone with the supervisor. And she goes, oh my God, is that a police officer? I'm like, yeah. He's like, I said, put the phone down. I'm like, dude, chill out. And she's like, I'm coming down right now. And I'm talking to the cop. I'm like, look, man, I go, I'm going to set my bag down. He's like, I said on the ground. I'm like, dude, I'm not laying in the fucking mud. That ain't happening. I'll walk over there where the sidewalk is, but I'm not laying in the mud. And as soon as I start to, move my stuff over, and this cop's like trying to intercept me, you see this little golf cart come around a corner almost like on two wheels. It's like, dun, 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 dun. She comes, hauling ass down the thing, and she tells the guy, she's like, officer, you need to stop. This is a private property. He's like, shut up and get back in your cart. You on the ground. And she's like, did you just tell me to shut up? I'm the property manager. And he goes, I said, shut up. And she goes, look, I don't know what happened, if it didn't work out in college or why you're a fucking traffic cop, and here goes these two to start going at it. I'm like, can I just fucking leave? I got more calls to run. I couldn't help it. But I mean, this lady was like 81 years old. To see this old lady with this little spunky attitude, and when you first knock on the door, who the fuck is it? I was like, whoa, it just blew me away.